y'all what's happening. It's been a little bit since I picked up the camera and filmed anything, but transmission's back in the car for probably the second time. It's obviously still making the whining noises and whatnot, but it's going into gear fine, so I figured we can knock out this event, at least test it and see if it will blow up or not. So in the meantime, I took it out yesterday and the car wouldn't make any boost. I'm not sure what the hell was going on. It'd make like 8 pounds and just fall on its face. Either I have a coupler that's come loose or something that's going on. Maybe I fouled the plugs once more, but we're gonna pull it out, just make a little bit of room in the shop, and then we'll crack into that a little bit later on. So yeah, I'm gonna pull it out. Let's fire up this thing, get the oil warmed up a little bit. Got some 1050 in there, so don't necessarily want to spin a bearing or anything like that. No lubrication. Sound like it's misfiring, so I was looking over the couplers. I didn't see any loose ones. We're gonna take a look at that a little bit later on, as mentioned. I'm gonna keep cracking on the company's time. Let's go get this thing officially pulled out. Tell you what, these Monroes are definitely getting dirty way quicker than I hoped. But white wheels, what do I expect? Yeah. I'll let this thing chill here for a little bit. Come back to it a little later on. Figure out that high boost problem. Alright y'all, it's that time of the day. Just did a little bit of diag and actually found out what the fuck's wrong with the car. I'll have an idea of what's wrong with it. Losing fuel pressure. So normally the FBR is reading about 40 psi on idle, and it obviously should climb with acceleration just to keep that proper fuel when I'm in boost. And it's actually going down. The gauge is going down. It's reading bad. So we'll find out what the fuck's obstructing the lines or why I'm losing fuel pressure. I mean, the pump's good, so I'm sure maybe something rattled loose on that vibrant bulkhead down there. There's like a big dash 10 bulkhead to a DAP 3 of the fuel pumps that I actually have, but I'm only running one pump right now, so maybe that bulkhead AN fitting actually came loose and it's just spraying in the pump, or in the tank rather. So I'm doing a little bit of diagnosing these fuel lines. Maybe the filter down there is obstructed. That's my biggest guess. So I'm gonna start there. I'll let you know. All right, went ahead and pulled off that fuel filter. Bottom side, she's only hanging right over there. Just had a frame rail. And I believe I found the culprit. First off, what the fuck is that? Is that rust? Jesus Christ. So this did have a little screen in it. It's the other half of the filter. As you can see, this thing is fucking plumbed full of whatever that rust debris is. God damn it. So that means the good old tank is a little rustier than I hoped. So that's not good. Definitely can't have that problem during high boost, or she's gonna fucking grenade instantly. So I gotta get that situated. Probably gonna get a fuel cell ordered. I have no time to really throw it in there. Well, fuck. The fabrication part's gonna suck because I do have to get a firewall installed for the rear if I do put the fuel cell on this side. Obviously, I mean, maybe we can mount it on the bottom side of the trunk where the actual stock one was, and I won't have to fabricate that firewall. But I can't have, you know, fuel obstructions and a high turbo, high boost application, so that's insane. Honestly, this setup hasn't been in the car but for one fuel up, so I gotta find out what the fuck's going on down there. I mean, obviously when I put the cinder in there, I noticed there's a little bit of rust flakes here and there, but it was to a certain level, and maybe I just filled it up and all the particles got down into the fuel, or into the pump rather. So I can only imagine what the actual fucking sock on the pump looks like, if that's how the pre-rail filter looks. So probably gonna have to pull apart that as well, find out what that screen's looking like, because this is insane. So did all this at the same time, so it's clearly gonna be obstructed there first. So it's probably the bigger problem, but I guess we'll keep cracking on this. Went ahead and pulled the radium fuel sender out. Just take a look at that old sock on there, or the filter rather. You can see it's definitely pretty dirty on that screen, but unfortunately the screen doesn't protect enough against those tiny particles. As it's seen, it went right through, as you can see rather. So yeah, I'm gonna blow that out the rest of the way. Unfortunately, there was a bunch of sediment at the bottom of the tank. It's pretty rusty in there. I went ahead and sucked it out with the Mighty Vac. What was chilling at the bottom, obviously it's gonna keep building up, so I should probably go ahead and get a fuel cell or an S14 tank or something in here that's not gonna be corrosion prominent. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and throw this radium fuel sender back in there and button it up, see what the fuel pressure is looking like. Just got back from a little test drive. Got her into boost perfectly. She didn't break up or anything. It's definitely the problem there. Just gonna have to make sure that doesn't keep happening. To do so, probably drop in a fuel cell. If not, at least another S13 tank that's actually in better condition than this one. Granted, when I got the car, it did have E85 in that tank for probably 13 years, and all the lines were rotted out by the time I got to it. So I went ahead and pulled those lines out and just scrubbed the tank. Ended up running the tank all last year, didn't have any problems. What the fuck's poppin', y'all? Welcome back. It's Friday after all, you know what the fuck we're gonna get ourselves involved in. It's that time. We gotta go ahead and assemble the forged engine. Just got everything back from the machine shop not too long ago. I believe it was about a week now. So yeah, I believe I have everything ready. So I'm gonna get cracking, find out what I'm missing. First step is gonna get these oil squirters reinstalled before I forget about those. It'd be catastrophic. I forget about that. But went ahead and pulled the drift car back into the shop. Figured out that no boost problem, just a clogged fuel filter. Bunch of rust in the tank, so I'm gonna go ahead and drop that and get it sprayed out. Don't have time to do that before, don't have time to swap the tank rather, or to purchase another one before the next drift event is coming up, like next weekend, 2 weekends from now actually. So window's closed and actually get this thing worked on simultaneously as building this fucking thing. So, but one last drift event on this motor. Already have the dyno appointment set for this one once we get everything together. So just cracking, get everything together. So yeah, I'm gonna quit the jibber jabber and get to the work. Went ahead and busted out the good old parts bucket. box, whatever the fuck you want to call it, with all the valuables. Fished out my good old pistons and mainly rods. This setup, we're going with CP pistons, mainly rods. I'm not sure the full spec. They're just 20 over, still 89 millimeters. So stock compression, stock stroke on the rods. So got the rest of the goodies. I'm gonna go ahead and get those oil squirters in there before it's too late. And yeah, probably drop the rotating assembly in there. Bust out the plastic gauge, make sure everything's in spec. Already got my rings file fit, so this should be pretty well straightforward. It's just a matter of getting them in the engine. I need to wait till tomorrow to actually get a piston ring compressor to drop them in, but I'm gonna go ahead and knock out what I can. Maybe get the wrist pins in there, get the snap rings and whatnot. Get them prepped. Maybe even put the rings on there, because I do have ring pliers, separators, whatever the fuck you want to call them. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and flip this motherfucker over, get those oil squirters in there, wherever the hell I have them. Keep cracking along, so yeah, appreciate it. Alright, went ahead and threw the oil squirters in there. 1 through 4. Went ahead and pulled up all data as well. Found the torque specification for those oil jets, they call them. At 22 to 30 foot-pounds. I'm gonna go ahead and torque them down. 27 foot-pounds right in between, so we're gonna do that. Check back with you. Alright, just got all those oil squirters installed. Got them all torqued down to the proper specification. 27 foot-pounds of torque. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these pistons and rods all dressed up. Get the wrist pins installed, as well as those little C-clips. It's always a fun time. I'm gonna make sure none of those fly across the room. Alright, just got the first piston done. Piston and rod combo installed. Those wrist pin little C-clips do suck. They're a pain in the ass. Try not to mar up my fucking beautiful pistons, but hey, they're in there. Might be a special tool to get it done, but I got it done with the shit I have here, so. Shop built, bitch. Fuck it. This is looking great. Guess I'm gonna keep on cracking. Before I go ahead and do the rest, I am gonna double check and make sure that those are installed properly. But pretty confident on that. No room for error here though, so do you blame me? Shit sucked. It's pretty stressful. Obviously, there's a lot of money involved in all this, so again, no room for error. Second piston rod combo is done, minus the rings. Keep on cracking. That last wrist pin, snap clip, C-clip, whatever the fuck you want to call it. God, there's a pain in my ass. I don't know why it's the last of everything. It's always the most trouble. This shit gave me a little workout. Cannot wait to get that thing done, thrown in the fucking car. All these late nights need to start paying off. Time is at 9 o'clock on a Friday. And the pay period is 2 weeks down. Busting ass for the company. It's about time I get back to doing something for myself. Just trying to stay motivated. Alright, got my pistons and rods all dressed up. Going through the process of installing these ARP mains right now. Getting all the studs hand tight. I'm just gonna probably bolt the crank on there after I install the main bearings. I'm gonna do the plastic gauge steps to make sure it's all in spec. I don't have to worry about the rods at this moment. Alright, got all those main studs installed. Had a few of them in the wrong spots. A couple of them are a different length. I'm not sure if you can see it on the camera, but this guy's a little bit longer, and then these two. So actually 3 studs in total. But I went ahead and test fit the girdle on there, and no binding or anything like that. Should be A-okay. I'm sure the machine shop already did this anyways. Got it back, this is already opened up, so pretty sure they lined and checked all the mains. So with that said, I believe the next step for today will be go ahead and get those main bearings on there, and then get the crank all bolted up with some plastic gauge. See how that is. Alright, got all my main bearings installed on the girdle as well as inside the block, and then went ahead and slapped the crank on there. On top of the crank, I'm not sure if you can see it, but I got the plastic gauge on all the mains. So I'm going to go ahead and slap that girdle on there, bolt it to the proper spec, take it back off, measure that plastic gauge. Got my girdle on there, all the ARPs on there as well. Got them lubricated, about to torque them down to the proper specification. 3 equal steps up to 60, so it's not gonna take too much torque. Shouldn't take too long. I'm gonna knock that out, and I'll report back. Alright, got all those mains torqued down the proper spec. As you saw, shit's always stressful. Especially at this caliber, I cannot afford anything to go wrong. Unfortunately, I had to take all those back off. I wish that was the final torque, but I'm gonna have to go through that process once more. It's always stressful, but plastic gauge is in there right now, so I should be able to unbolt all those. Check the bearing clearance. I should be confident after that. Just pulled that girdle off there. Went ahead and measured all the plastic gauge. Everything's looking pretty good. Other than this last one, this spread pattern is definitely a little weird, but it's within spec, so shouldn't be too much to worry about. Mains are looking good. We're gonna go ahead and probably get out of here for the day. Come back tomorrow and do the rods. Probably get the pistons actually installed while I do that. The rings and whatnot. Yeah, I'm gonna keep on cracking. I'm gonna get out of here for today. Probably clean up the rest of the way. Make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Get the fuck out of here. Appreciate you watching. If you like the content, I would definitely appreciate if you would like and subscribe. You know how it goes. Thanks again. See you later.